Hello and good evening, everyone. February continues. Couple of announcement. The stream that was planned for this Saturday is canceled. Be out of town. Give me just a sec. I'm gonna update that in the Discord. Hey, Omes, hey, username. Hope you guys are having a good day. Or evening or morning, whatever it might be for you. Hello. Stream plan for Saturday is canceled. I'm live right now. Otherwise, I'll see you Monday. That should be good. And then I'll also post it and pin it in the stream chat. Just so when people come in, if they didn't see the Discord announcement, they can still see that it's the top pinned message. Manually or until end of stream. Man, the Twitch chat box scuffed for me right now. Hello, Melancholy. How you doing? Hope you're having a good day or a good evening. And then pin it. All right. There is a question about Unreal Engine 5 stuff, which is when you're using Unreal Engine 5 and you press W and S, do you stop moving, walk forward, or walk backward? That's a good question. Let's go find out. When he said walk, I'm guessing he meant when the stream was, or not the stream, when the game was being played. Because in the editor, if I do both, so if I start going forward and then press S, it just stops me. And then, so it looks like it just cancels out. So I have both held down, I let go of S, hold both down again, let go of W. But let's see what it does in game. So walking forward, oh, okay. What if I start walking backward? That's interesting. So it seems like backward takes the priority. Like if I have both down at the same time. And then if I have left and right, it seems like right takes the priority there. That's weird. I wonder why that is. It should just be like an axis value, but it might be like prioritizing the positive over the negative. You're chill? How are you? I'm doing good. Some things can be better, but, you know, slowly working on it. How about everyone else? I actually do wonder why that is. I mean, if we look at the code, it might give us a hint. And it's not the worst thing in the world that it's doing that. But I am just kinda curious. So that's toggle camera, toggle movement. So this is the move function. And it's just the vector. So like when you move, it passes in this value, which is a 2D value, which has the X and Y. So in this case, our Y is, forward and back. Our X is left and right. So I guess the way that enhanced input works is it's prioritizing my forward and right movement, or sorry, my backward and my right movement. I don't know why that is. The God tier refresh pull. Welcome, internet. Good to see you again. Oh, my water is just out of reach. This is cursed. Hold on. I got it. Well, that's not right. Hold on. Here we go. Simple stream today. I think the task that I've planned is going to be kind of straightforward, honestly. I don't think it'll take us that long. So it might be short today. Man, you're hungover. You could use some water. Dude, get some water. Hopefully it's easily accessible. But last stream, we made the mini-map that updates based on what the level generator makes. And so we haven't connected the level generator to the map generator yet, because the level generator still has a couple issues I gotta work out. And if you are jumping into this somewhat new, the level generator kind of, if we go back to this here as an example, the level generator, you guys can't see it, determines a placement of rooms. So this might be a good example of one. And there's a handful of logic behind it. So like, let's say that it's like, oh, these are hallways, and then these are, bedrooms or something. This wouldn't be super likely of an outcome, mind you. It would probably prioritize putting maybe a bedroom and a bathroom together and then a hallway, rather than bedroom, 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 closet, and then 2 hallways. But the idea is there's a separate level manager that creates some kind of grid space and associates it and assigns it to each room. And what the map generator does, well, that's just the level generator. Then we have, I guess, the spawner, which actually takes the list of rooms generated by the level generator and places them and spawns them in the level. And then that list of rooms is also sent to this widget, which then takes the images of the mini-map that each room is given beforehand by me, and then it assigns them together. So it's similar to the room spawning, but just on a widget instead. And so the way that we kind of worked around that without the level generator is we made a dummy room generator logic to where I'm just manually spawning them in, and I'm just kind of manually deciding where these placements are. So like these XY values, this is what the level generator would determine. But here, just for the sake of getting a good test going and testing this part of the workflow, I just typed them in manually. Oh man, I've not been paying attention, sorry. I thought the map was a questionable way to build a chair. What is Stute Pictorial? Talking about GIMP or the little gizmos we saw on the monitor? Oh, Melancholy. I guess that means you haven't been here in a while. That means I can ask you questions, and you'll look at it with unbiased eyes. So the idea is you have 4. Hey, I smell colors. Welcome back. Interrogation time. Yes. And anyone that has an opinion, by the way, you're welcome to describe it too. There are 4 monitors, and my music is dead. Is my stream dead? Hold on. Okay, I don't know what happened there. Uh-oh. Let me check stream health. Stream is healthy, okay. Nope, all good? Okay, Lo-Fi Girl just wanted to take a break for a moment. Oh! It doesn't like when I go full screen, but I think we'll live with it. It is lagging a bit. Hold on. Let me just turn down a couple things. Hi. There we go. That's much better. It's twice as good, actually. Okay, so this far left screen is like a catalog, where you'll have, for the sake of explanation, rather than trying to explain the animals and the creatures and the monsters again, let's just say it's a catalog of animals. And your job is to determine which of the behavior traits on the second screen go to which animal. So you might have a list of different... This music just... Oh, it's struggling. Let me know if it's bad, or if it's still okay. I don't know why it's struggling this bad. Can't stay long right now, just came in to say hi. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pause the music, because that's just freaking me out. And so, we have a list of traits here. So, like, you know, the animal has fur. The animal has, like, 2 eyes. The animal likes dark rooms. And so here on the left monitor, you would kind of click from this monitor and assign it to that one on the left. These 2 on the right here, this third one is the map. So you click on a room, and then on this 4th monitor, it shows you a live video feed of that room. So if there's an animal wandering around, you can use this to see what that animal is doing to help answer the questions on these first 2 screens. Not really a question, but more so to assign the correct animal trait to the right animal. There are these buttons up at the tops and the sides here, and I've been going back and forth as to what I want the what I want these to look like. This is kind of a placeholder, but I mean, if it works and people think it's visually, maybe not visually appealing, but maybe not visually unappealing, I might stick with it. And that's just to let you zoom in to the monitor so you can read things a bit better, and then you can also zoom in to an individual monitor, and then just kind of go to the right a little bit. So I guess first question is, a lot of these are placeholders, but how does the layout of the monitors look? Is question number 1. 2 is the effects on them. So the scan lines and the jitteriness of the lines themselves. Is that too much? Is that maybe not enough? And then finally is the coloring. I am always partial to this green color. Some folks have also mentioned that older monitors could also do blue, and then also kind of like a bone white, or like a creamy color. Maybe bone white wasn't the correct one. And so an easy solution to that would be let the players choose what monitor color scheme they want to go with. But I guess as a default, how do we kind of feel about that? Let's try to get music back too. That's pretty simple, all laid out together. Okay, good. So at least conceptually it's easy. The way that I'm going to kind of break this down for the player in a tutorial, which the tutorial I want to get done by, I want to get done by June 7th. And Nibble was getting mad at me last time for not having any sort of actual plan on how to get that done in time. So we're going to do one now, because I did come up with one mentally. But I should probably, like, speak something out loud so I can be held accountable. Effects, not too much. I guess you could maybe do something with the layout of the monitor. The green is your preference. When you say effects not too much, you mean that, like, it's not, okay, it's not too much of an effect. I see. I was trying to think about how I'd ask the question. Okay, that's a good thing. That's an affirmative. And then do something with the layout of the monitor. The green is your preference. Yeah, I think I need to change what the UI actually looks like. Some people posted some good design ideas or some design references in chat. So I'll need to revisit this, probably when I get to, like, the fine-tuning aesthetic stage. So I guess we'll break down that kind of folds into this. Hey, Kevin, good to see you. Welcome on in. I mean that they looked good. Okay, yeah, cool. So right now it's February, and if I remember my months, yeah, February, January, February, March, April. Did I post the stream announcement in the Discord, by the way? I don't remember if I did that. Okay, I did. Alright, sorry about that. February, March, April, May. So realistically, just these 4, because I have a little bit of June, but I'm essentially just going to count that month as empty. Not related to what's in the monitors, but what if you made the desk curved, half circle around you, and add some left-right arrow keys to change the monitor you look at? The desk itself definitely needs to change. I agree with you on that. This is definitely just a cube as a placeholder. But in terms of just making it curved, that could maybe look good. Maybe 2 desks, you're thinking. Okay, I'm open to that. That wasn't something I'd considered, so I'm glad you guys brought it up. Obviously, I was going to use a different desk, but I was thinking maybe about using a similar layout. And some size variation for the computers, just a little bit more chaotic. Okay. Now, size variation had been brought up before, and let me make sure I'm addressing everyone's point here. What if you made the desks curved half circle around you, then add some left and right arrow keys? When you say left and right arrow keys, are you talking about, like, physically on the keyboard? Like, in front of you in real life? Are you talking about what is here? Like these? On the edge here? Or are you talking about, like, in-world? So not a widget, but, like, you push a button on a keyboard in the world, and, like, it swaps monitors. No. Like an overlay, yes, on the edge. Okay. So kind of like what we're seeing here. Because that's kind of what I thought would be best also. The aesthetics of this obviously would probably need to change. This is a little too basic. Either stylize it a bit more, make it more in theme with the rest of the monitors. But functionally that works. And jumping back to kind of the plan, for February and probably through March and April, a lot of it is going to be functionality. So we'll plan February and March just to get functionality done. And then April and May is aesthetic. And I don't have enough word space there. I think I would be safe to let functionality bleed into April if I have to, but I would prefer it not do that. What size monitor do I use? I wish I could easily take a picture of this without doxing myself. So the way that it's set up is, I think, like, it's 232s, a 15, and like this one's like a 24. Actually, it might be, yeah, I don't know, because it's like two not massive ones, but they're pretty big on the side like that. Then there's a smaller one here. And then up above at the top, I have that just super small 15-inch. Which I use to just either play videos or right now it's where Lo-Fi Girl is. And then kind of how I'm sitting, I have a corner desk. So it's like this. I'm sitting here. And then it's monitor, so big monitor's here. The tiny monitor is here. And then obviously that smallest one is back there. I disappeared. What did you miss? We were talking about monitor size. I was also asking a question like, when you said arrow keys to change the monitor in the game, were you talking like kind of what I already have here, like these little arrows on the side, or kind of, I don't know what you meant by the arrow keys stuff. So splitting up the functionality even more, I would like to have a lot of the monitor stuff done by end of February. We're already pretty close to that because we realistically just need the camera stuff to work. We need the behavior trait assignment to work. And that's about it. Another nice to have would be a media player, because that'll go into the tutorial part, which I'll talk about after this. March would maybe just be the AI implementation stuff. AI, and then the scene transitions. So like the elevator to take you from one level to another, but that could probably blend into aesthetics a little bit, so maybe that's where the overlap is. But for the AI, we already have a good groundwork. We would just want to make it a little bit more intricate, so something that might work more for a demo, so just more behaviors that would be interesting. We'll just say actions. And so, kind of with the combination of these two, and I'll look at chat in a second, let me finish this thought. We'll have the animal acting a certain way in its environment, and then we'll have the monitors for the player to interact with to catalog the animal behavior. And that's really going to be the gist of the demo. The full game, they're not cute, cuddly animals. They are otherworldly entities that are aggressive. And so you're both trying to study them the same way that we talked about here, while also not dying. And then there are also some puzzles thrown into the mix in the environment themselves. But that's later on. I don't even necessarily know if that will be in the demo. Not even necessarily demo being the right word, but something more just like, something playable in the hands of people. How long have you been working on Rotted? So, I think beginning of 2024. So about 2 years so far. Yep, that's what you meant? Okay, cool. Heck yeah, Eldritch Beings. Yeah. I have one designed pretty well so far. Not made, but I made an initial design that looked like crap. And then someone, a fan, or I guess just a viewer, I don't even know if fan's the right word for such a small community. Someone in the Discord made a really good, like, their own interpretation of my chicken scratch art of this monster character. And it's phenomenal. So I need to come up with a couple other designs. I don't know, and maybe you guys might have some feedback on this. I don't know if I want to have a monster in the playable thing that comes out in June, or if it should just be like testing the mechanic. And I'll talk about kind of how I'm envisioning the demo, because maybe I'll do it at, like, towards the end, kind of as a, oh, you build suspension type of thing. Show. Yeah, let me pull that up. The artist is Nibble. Let me see. Let me search for Mari, because that was her name. The name of the monster I made. Oh, so let me show you, I guess, my initial chicken scratch design. So I initially made this in like paint.net. That's razor wire. And then like this is an old model that I'd made, kind of an accumulation of a bunch of different applications and software and Blender. And then Nibble took that design and ran with it. Let's go to art, and we'll have to scroll up a bit. A lot of cool people posting art, by the way. I know I don't comment in the art chat a lot, but I do look at it, and it is all really cool shit. Bassie also made some really cool Daisy art, another one of the characters. I don't quite know what her role is going to be. She's definitely not going to be in any of the playable stuff the first half of this year. Gotta scroll up quite a bit. I think we're getting closer. There it is. So from that little, like, sketch drawing I made, Nibble had made this. So very Silent Hill-esque, very Eldritch, which is kind of exactly how I had imagined that to look. So super cool stuff. Just copy Portal for the elevator. And what month are we... at what month are we naming... Oh, the game has a name already. I don't talk about it too much. But you'll hear me refer to it as a couple different things. A lot of the times you'll just hear me call it Rotted. The full name of the game is Return on This Day. And then the acronym for that is just ROTD, which is why I call it Rotted. The name will make more sense if you understand like the full gameplay loop. I don't think it's super worth getting into tonight, but I'll be happy to explain it probably like on one of the weekend streams when we have more time. Yeah, it does. It's kind of been in, like, I've had the name for a while, but without having... It's a kind of ambiguous name, and so without having a good way to describe, well, what does that mean? Sometimes it makes more sense just not to talk about it too much, or just to call it Rotted, because it's like, oh, it's a horror game, and it's about rot. It's like, okay, cool. It's about the gist of it. Let me catch up on chat messages, because I missed some. Both look so cool. I like the third arm. Thank you. I know, I've heard it too many times. We're in the loop. Exactly. I'm trying to get out of that loop. So, and then April and May is aesthetics. So I want to build the like the elevator part, make that look good. Do some audio stuff. Some sound design. Not going to be a lot of music. I don't think I really need a lot of music. And then art. And so that's mostly just Blender models and texturing. And so whatever model I'm going to use for the hunter or animal here is going to kind of fall into this category. Which means that rigging is also going to fall into this category, which is going to be annoying and I'm not looking forward to. You're not in the loop, so it's helpful. Yeah, at some point, I do... another software developer that streams, in the top right corner, they have like a little demo reel of their game playing on loop. And once I have something that is easier to explain, I want to have... or something that's easier to show, I want to have something like that. Oh, you played the Halloween one? Well, thank you. It definitely was... I would consider it unfinished. You can go from start to end, but it's certainly not where I'd hoped it would be. Like, the entire month of October, every free day I had just kind of been taken away from me. So I just need to... I want to do something like that again this Halloween season. I just need to be better at planning it. But now I know. That was the first year I did something like that. Not a bad name, though. I would say it's a bit lengthy. Yeah, well, like, so is Five Nights at Freddy's. That's a big name. But people just say FNAF. That's kind of also why it's like, a lot of the times I just call it rotted. So let's talk about kind of my idea for, and let's get rid of this like weird pink color I'm using. Use green, kind of like the green. Okay, so the idea is player initially starts off and still trying to figure out like lore-wise what makes the most sense. Either they're an intern, or they've been here before, or they work for the company but at a different division. Either way, they're being introduced to this as if it's like on-the-job training. And either a voice over the megaphone or some other kind of way of directly communicating to the player. So they start off in a room. So this is the first room. And there's a desk. And on the desk, there's what I'm probably thinking is either all 4 monitors, like we saw here a second ago, or maybe just limit it to 2. But the idea is, and let's go back to, let's plan that it's all 4, just for the sake of this explanation. In the third monitor, there's like a media tab. And so I talked about how on one tab there's the map, the other tab is media. And so it'll be like, oh, navigate to the media tab. While you're there, there's a few things you can listen to, one that you can look at, and one that you can watch. So you have audio, you have just an image, and you have a video. And when you click on each one, on this 4th monitor is where it plays it. The audio, it might just be like waveforms. Picture, obviously it would show the picture. And then video shows the video. And then from that, they say, okay, well now that you've looked at that, on the left is a profile of 2 different animals that we have here that we study. And on the right is a list of behavior traits, and we don't know what belongs to what. So your job is to look at this media, analyze it, and then figure out which of these goes to who. And something I was thinking of, kind of just lore-wise potentially, is they had an LLM already analyze this data, and it created this list of behaviors. But, as we all know, LLMs like to hallucinate, so your job is to look at the list of behaviors and determine which of these are correct, and which of them correctly do apply to something that is here in the facility, and which of them is just straight up incorrect. So once the players, that's kind of like the easy introduction to how does a player assign traits to an animal, and how do they learn what the traits are. If this part is too complicated, that's kind of a concern for me, because everything that follows it is kind of built upon the players understanding this. And so we'll see. This is definitely meant to be a slower paced game than something like Lethal Company or Repo, and maybe even a little bit slower paced than like Phasmophobia, but it still kind of has a lot of the same DNA of Phasmophobia, of you are investigating something, you're trying to learn about it by analyzing all of the different evidence kind of laying out before you. If you have all 4, it might be overwhelming. Yeah, see, that's kind of what I was thinking too. So one way to kind of get around that, because all of them in that explanation are kind of necessary, the other one I could do is just like, oh, you only have the 2, right? You have the one with the animal profile on it, and the one with the behavior types on it. And then rather than using this 3rd and 4th, it's in front of you is a folder. In that folder, you have a photo, or maybe even simpler, you have 3 photos in this folder. Look at the photos, and then record your analysis in the 2 monitors in front of you. LLM, yeah, a large language or large learning model. So that's what ChatGPT is. That's what Gemini is. And so the idea is, and for those of you that don't know or aren't super familiar with a lot of these learning models, I studied it a little bit. So let's say you have one and you're trying to teach this LLM about fish in a lake. And so how would we say this? Let's say this is weight of fish. So weight. And this is length. And then you fill in a bunch of data points. Or even simpler, you fill in a bunch of data points, like these are little dots. And then what the LLM will try to do is try to find some kind of relation, and it'll be like, well, if I were to draw a line, it would look something like that. And so if you ask the LLM, hey, I have a fish of this weight, about how long is it? It would say, oh, it's this long. Like, let's say this was like a 10. You're like, oh, it's 8 feet long. Even though there are plenty of examples where the fish is not 8 feet long at that weight, it just kind of makes a guess, and that's where the hallucinations come from. Where it made a guess, but didn't have enough data to finish or give you an accurate guess. So, super short, and for those of you who actually know a lot more about LLMs, or maybe you work in that industry, you probably are like, oh man, none of that was correct. What are you going on about? But hopefully, at least some of that served as a good kind of, at least, open the door to how it works. Look at the message I sent before the last one. You should introduce the monitors to the player by turning them on when the intercom is explaining. Oh, that's a good one. So, like, all 4 exist. And so, maybe, like, it starts with just the animal profile one. And it's like, oh, we have 2 animals here. Go ahead and take a look at each one. So maybe one is a fox, like one's an Arctic fox, one's an Arctic wolf. And there will be some data populated it on already. Then when the player's ready, it's like, on the right screen, there are some observations collected by them, but the accuracy of these observations is unknown. And so then it might be like, we know that, and it might even verbally tell you, observation number 1 is for the Arctic wolf. Go ahead and assign it to the Arctic wolf profile now. And then when you do that, then it'll populate the other ones. I've got 2 salary hikes in the dev time of this game. Hoping for another one before the launch so I can finally afford new RAM. Hey, nice internet. You know what? Let's hope for 2. 2 more. Double it from what we're at now. Exactly, and the working monitors are surrounded by the broken monitors to add ambiance. Yeah, because like having this big room, like I'm thinking an orientation room. Or like a computer lab, maybe something similar to like what you might see in a university or something. To where like maybe there's a big projector up front and then you have like some tables here. Because it wouldn't make sense just to have a single room with just like 4 screens. And then, definitely maybe even use lighting to indicate that, oh, this is where the player ought to be sitting. And then maybe have like, a name tag here with whatever the player's chosen name is, or maybe Steam or something, I don't know. That's like, this I would consider gold plating, to where it's like, I don't really need it, but I can definitely go back at any time and make it cleaner. So that's the introduction. It's just a Daisy Rage room. Oh, hey, Raph, how you going? How are you doing? I'm a little bit more tired today than the usual Wednesday streams. You have been catching up. I appreciate it. It's fun having you here. So that's the first part of the tutorial. where it's showing you how do you use the monitors to actually assign the animal behaviors. The second part is, okay, you did that because I gave you the evidence. Like, I already collected the evidence. It was given to you directly. You were given the audio files and the videos and the photos. You won't always have all the information you need to make the correct assessments. But luckily for us, these animals are still alive, and so you are going to observe them yourself and come to these conclusions based on what you see. And that's kind of when the players step into that elevator, and it takes them up to that first room, and then it opens it up, and let's just say there's that Arctic fox in this one. Let's draw a fox. Look how happy that fox is. That's the fox. Oh, he's missing his tail. Sorry about that. Boom. One thing you could do also is reaction to stimulus. And so that might be the introduction to that. Like in this room, there's a light switch. And you can turn the light switch on and off and judge the reaction of the animal to that stimuli. And so that introduces two things to the player. One is doing the observations themselves. And two is that they can do things that will change the behavior of the animal. So they can inject their own stimulus into the environment to alter its behavior to see if it conforms to the observations that they're testing. Once we kind of have this groundwork laid, and then also we do, they do the second animal. This one is the fox. He's got a bushy tail because that's what foxes have, and their legs are further apart. He's got a big wolf fox nose. That's the fox. Same thing, right? Just to reaffirm the player's understanding. Reaction to stimulus, maybe this time there's an extra stimulus, like they can increase the heat of a certain room, or cool it down, or play music and see, or play a loud honking sound and see how the wolf reacts. And again, just kind of sticking with these two pretty much from the beginning until they get a good understanding of what's going on. Now, one sec. This, oops. Is where, now that the player understands the rules of the game, is where we can start to mess with them a bit. Because they went up to these two rooms, and now it's like, okay, we have one final thing we want you to look at. And that one final thing is where things start to get a bit sketchy. To where it takes you up to this room, and maybe the doors don't open. And maybe it's like, oh, it's for your safety. You don't want to go in there. And then I can approach this a couple different ways, right? I could have it to where it's like you have to use the cameras inside the room. That way the players kind of have to use the cameras a little bit, because they could use them in this one. And I don't know why this isn't stretching out so I can paint the rest of it, which is kind of annoying. There we go. Oh, that is weird. You could use the cameras in this room too, but they weren't like explicitly necessary to figure out the first couple puzzles. But I could have it to be where, like, in this one, it is. Or maybe, like, you don't learn quite what you need to with just the cameras alone. And so maybe you do have to go inside. And maybe that's a good opportunity for me as a designer to think of a way to make this tense, to make this even scary, possibly. I'm always concerned, and I always kind of have this mindset that scaring the player is going to be hard. I don't want to rely on jump scares because I don't think those are super effective. I think building tension is a little bit easier than scaring the player, and so I would prefer to rely on that. But at this point, a lot of those core mechanics are explained, and a lot of the game follows that same formula. There's an entity, there's a large environment, and you have to study it. The difference between this tutorial and the rest of the game is, rather than an elevator taking you to these very sterilized rooms, it's a train taking you to these much larger environments, the size of like the Resident Evil mansions. And there are puzzles to unlock more of these rooms to give you more room to work with for you to learn more about the creature. So for instance, let's say that there is a ballroom, but it's locked. But there is a very specific behavior that you would only see if you manage to lure the entity into the ballroom. So you are incentivized to explore more. And as for like solving puzzles, as the players transition from the auditorium, this like meeting room, into the elevator, is likely a good opportunity for me to throw in some puzzles so that the players at least are introduced to like the inventory system that they have and whatnot. Building tension to a jump scare is a good way to make a jump scare not cheap. True. How could you not want to adopt all of them? So, that's a pretty good basic layout. And I think I've always been show, don't tell. Because here we are. We're about 50 minutes into stream. I think that explanation probably took close to half an hour. It takes a while for me to walk through it. But I'm most interested to see how well can the game teach it to the player. Good night, Raph. Take it easy. Take it easy. But today, we're doing something hopefully simple. We have our rooms, and I think our rooms already have cameras in them. We just want to change where these cameras are, or change the output of these cameras so we can actually see what's happening. So I think we've been using this room constructor, which... Oh, it has cameras in it. But that was more so for like the player to interact with. So we're gonna take a field trip to the other level that I made, where I had this working a little bit more. If I remember right, is under third person, Blueprint Maps Mansion. While this is loading, by the way, any questions, comments, concerns about the whole explanation? I know it's not perfect. I'm fine if my on-stream explanation isn't perfect. And I'm even fine if the game demo explanation itself isn't perfect either. Like, a little bit of scuff is to be expected for, like, my first big game. Big, in quotes. But I want to get that as close to good as possible, so that's where I think I'll spend a little bit more focus and polish on. Is the in-game explanation, not necessarily my on-stream one. But still, you guys always have pretty good feedback, and I always like to listen to it. It's loading the mansion, by the way. You guys can't see the loading bar. It's still loading. It says it's at 100%, but it's also saying it's opening the editor, which does not look like it's 100%. There we go. Oh, ignore these old material tests I was doing. I was like checking paint. These are some old Blender models I made. I want to see how they looked. So in these... let's... A lot of the rooms and models you're seeing, by the way, are not made by me. I do want to get to the point where I make my own, but credit where it's due, these are not mine. So this is camera actor. Okay. So you'll notice that these look different. Scene capture 2D with mobility is what this one is. And what's the post-process do? Maybe that's just for something in the future? A material. Okay, yeah, I know what this is. The post-process here is just for the static backgrounds. So it was a lot of work to get a lot of optimization on these cameras. Won't worry about that today, but this is a scene capture 2D. So that's what I need. And then here in like the old train car, the transport, shoot, I needed that. Laptop. I could have sworn one of these is a blueprint. BP interactable terminal. Okay, we're getting closer. Let's edit this blueprint. How big is the mansion? They're gonna be of varying sizes. This was like the old mock-up that I made back when I was gonna make all of them by hand, and I decided, oh, that's just not gonna work. The idea is probably like the medium sizes would be about the same size as like the Resident Evil ones. And so to kind of put this into perspective, looking at this with this being the foyer, and then we go back up here to look at it. This is the foyer, that's the ballroom, and then those are the rooms surrounding it. That one didn't quite line up, by the way, so just kind of ignored that piece. But like, this is the auditorium, and then this here is the hallway. You can tell a lot of this is just kind of scrambled together and needs a lot of polish. But since I'll be doing a lot of this anyway, this is just kind of the test level, I think, at this point. Oh, and then we have like this courtyard that I made. The lamps, or some of the lamps I made, but and some of like the little planter bushes I did too. But a lot of this was also just asset packs, which going forward I think I want to stay away from. Not because I think there's a problem with them, I would like to make my own stuff. Hey, Bean! Hope you're having a good one. You, I think, go by a different name on YouTube. Because I thought that was a new name for a second, but I was like, wait a second, that sounded familiar. Oh, it's Nibble. Hey, Blue, good to see you too. We're not on the computers anymore. Oh, don't you worry, we'll be back. Hiding from the wife. Uh-oh. Oh, I forgot that happened in the last episode of Dragon Ball Z. Let's see. How am I doing this? So I create on-screen widget, and this is just to get me in there, and that's to close it. This... Screen shadow? Oh, here we go. So it gets a material, and it sets the material to this screens. I'm confused why I'm doing it like this. Why am I setting it if I'm just casting scene capture 2D anyway? Either way, I don't need to scene capture 2D. I might want to do this part in C++ if I'm being honest. To make it part of the room. So it has a map, it has gizmos. Okay. Make it a U property. Scene capture 2D. I would imagine I'm probably going to need it as a reference. And then CCTV camera. What does CCTV actually mean? Is that even the right acronym to use for like a security cam? I have a feeling it's not. Closed circuit television is a surveillance system transmitting video signals from cameras to limited private set of monitors to enhance security. I guess that's right. Closed... What was it? Closed circuit television. Yeah. I think that's a good example of what that is. Camera. And it's mad. Identifier does not follow... What's your naming convention, please? Oh, of course, camel case. CCTV. Now I should probably also just remove the underscore, because it doesn't like underscores. Well, it does not that it doesn't like it, but... Livid showed up last stream, but I guess he was busy today. Yeah, he knew that I was coming, he was scared. Oh yeah, Daisy's dead, sorry. I'm sorry. I could start her, but I don't think there's a lot of benefit in doing that. I don't think there's a lot of benefit, I'll be honest. Okay. Heading out. Good night, OMS. Enjoy your Wednesday. No, Daisy. Okay, we can bring Daisy in. We can wake her up, I guess. Wait, unexpected what? What the? Found semicolon while parsing function. You are not a function. Oh, you are a function. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. Sorry. You a property. And then I don't really need this metadata. I don't even know what it is. I'm gonna get rid of that. You are not a function. There it goes. Speaking of a function, though, I do want to give it a get function, and probably a set function, too. Returns the... camera. Get... CCTV. And it's going to be a scene capture 2D reference. And great definition. And you are going to return you. And it's already mad. Is undefined. Oh, right. I need to include it. That would help. Oh! Sorry about that. I should hopefully fix this. E-rooms. I don't want to change that, though. Ren, what are we doing today? We are adding a camera to the map, so we can actually see what's happening. Oh no, let the clanker rest. Oh, it's too bad. She's already awake. She's wakey. Twitch, you're about to get ads, I'm sorry. Even the clankers need sleep? Fair enough. Okay, now we compile this. And then we should hopefully see our new object. Not again, third time the stream. Really? I can't turn them off, I think. I can snooze them for 5 minutes, but it'll just come back again in 5 minutes. I think they're every half hour, which I guess would make sense for the third time the stream. How much work is remaining in this game? A good amount. I want to have a demo ready by June, the beginning of June. But even after that's done, a lot of the groundwork will have been made. And so I should hopefully be able to make progress pretty quickly. But timeline after the demo is still kind of unknown. Hopefully I recompile. And because this is a CCTV camera. Okay, so it doesn't create one? Yeah, it's just happened once you get 100 plus followers. Sorry, Twitch. Sorry, Twitchers. Okay, so scene capture component 2D. Oh, I think it's because I would have to have spawned one. Like in the, yeah, that's probably what it is. Because if I did something like that, and then I went here, then it would probably find it. Wait, no, what? Ah. It's looking for one that doesn't exist here, so that's not gonna work. I could just do it in the constructor script here, but honestly, I'd rather not. I think we can just do it in C++. You got a Lobster Fest from Red Lobster ad? Nice. You got pizza. And a car ad. At least I didn't get told to buy an expensive car, and yeah, reminder, I'm not successful for y'all. Whoa, Daisy has a shield next to her name now on YouTube. It's luck, not gamble. Because I feel like if a bunch of people started typing gamble in my chat, YouTube might not like that. So I changed it to luck instead. Oh, here we go. CCTV camera equals a scene capture 2D. Text. We're just gonna have it say CCTV camera. I don't know what the text does. Oops, semicolon. That's important. I need that. Oops, I compiled the wrong thing. So now, aha, I have one. It just doesn't show up in the viewport. Where is it? I don't need to refresh, do I? Because box collision exists. Oh. Box collision doesn't exist in there. Maybe the way that I defined it is different, because I wanted to find it the same way as box collision does, because I think that's how I want this to work. View property. Edit anywhere. Blueprint read write category is So why is the box collision showing up in the viewport, but the CCTV isn't? Oh, make the box collision the root component. I don't know if I'd want to do that, though. I also don't know why I'm doing that. And what is a root component doing? Do I define that here? Why isn't it showing up in the scene? Is an actor, not a component. Oh, create default sub-object only works for components. Things you can attach inside another actor. So you'll never see what you want. Create default sub-object. So this line will never do what you want. The correct way to add a scene capture component. In your room actor, you want a scene capture component. Okay. And then this. Okay, there we go. I was using the wrong thing. We're gonna read that one. Alright, I'll catch up. You've dined and flown in helicopters with the third richest man in Finland and Finnish politicians. Oh, you must be on the list then. Oh no, Daisy's number 2. She is. She can't be beaten. Oh, you know what I'm talking about, Nibble. Wild? Oh, there it is. Cool. Where is it? Is this it? I have to edit it in C++? Oh, I hate that. No. Don't make it read-only. Why did it default to that? I feel like I get more dunked on in Twitch. You kind of set yourself up for that one, though. I refuse every now and then. The stream buffers and I'm stuck watching the circle and skipping to catch up. I'm gonna save you from a clip. Thank you. Apparently it hates when I make it 1080p. Oh. Editor only false. No, I should be able to edit you. Your blueprint read write. Oh, edit anywhere. Oh man, we lost a lot of people on YouTube. Where'd you all go? Why not? Why is this still acting weird? Native name. Mobility movable. Editor only. False. But you are not edit only. You are edit anywhere. You do as cat emojis? They do. It do be EP hours? It is. Yeah, Twitch, please don't dox yourself. It'd be really awkward. I don't want to have to deal with that. Why not? It doesn't let me. Alright, let's save all. Let's close some of these that we don't need. And then save all. And we're going to close the editor and we're going to open it back up again. Maybe it'll fix. Username, that is disturbing. How do you about the EEPs? You seem too old to get that. EEP is just sleep without the SL. I might be Unk, but I'm not Boomer. Got him. I don't know why it's... Oh man, YouTube is just gone. There's only one person in YouTube, it says. You're by yourself. Oh, they were invasive? Add totes to the game. Oh, it says Melancholy. Oh, Melancholy's back. Now the number went back up to 2. Does not make it editable and mutable in the viewport. To make a component in the viewport, it must be a real created sub-object in the constructor, and it must be attached to the component hierarchy. Then the editor exposes its transforms. Huh? Isn't that what I was just doing? Okay, we'll try this. No. And now it's gone. Wait, unless that's it. Oh no, that's it. But it doesn't let me click it. Unless it just got like stuck. Hold on. Let me try to remove the intermediate and saved folders and then come back. Oh, cancel. There's like cults on YouTube side, and there's like Toad Talk on Twitch. I think just goes to show that like the longer I'm live, the less I have control over what's happening. No, it's still saying edit in C++. So I might either have to do it the old way to where I didn't assign it and I have to just do it in the constructor every time. Which isn't that big of a deal, honestly. Or I'll have to chip away at it and find some other way to do it. But, and let me show you this again now that it's back up. Again, it didn't work. I still can't edit this. I don't think I have the brain power to figure that out tonight, because I also was gonna try to like get it to where the buttons would work too, but I definitely don't have time to do that, even within if I were to stream like the rest of the half hour. Because I would have to push the button and then it would have to show up on that second monitor. Proof of concept works. We did that in that other level, but it's not really a tonight issue. Not really a tonight issue. Thank you, Daisy, for throwing that out. Perfect timing. If you would like to join the next stream, that usually the schedule in the Discord is correct and it's updated to your local time zone, but in this one case it's not. This Saturday there is not going to be a stream. Next stream is Monday, so if you look at the schedule and you see that time for the Monday one, that's going to be the same thing next week. I am going to wait until after this time on Saturday to post the following stream schedule. Because if people come in and they see the one for the following week, they might confuse that for this week. So we're just going to wait Be patient. It'll be up. You keep meaning to actually listen to my stream. Yeah, there's a whole lot of like side combos going on, and I don't know. Maybe there's gonna be a pop quiz one day. Who knows? Who knows? I am gonna get some sleep. I would highly recommend you all do the same, especially if you are in the States or the Americas, because it's probably pretty late for you. No, not more quizzes. Don't worry, don't worry. All right, you all have a fantastic rest of your week, and let that lead into a fantastic weekend. Whatever you're trying to do this week, whether it's work or school, I have faith in you. I know you can do it. You just gotta keep pushing through. And I will see you on Monday. Thank you, Melancholy. Appreciate it. Thank you all, too, for being here either in the VOD or here live, and for all the good night wishes. See you on Monday.